of a bond, you and me. You know what I mean? We've seen things that people haven't. No, that's not actually true. But again, Money Shift in the morning. What Money Shift in the morning is a daily morning news show talking about cars. It tends to range from about 25 minutes to a bit over an hour, depending on how much news we have to talk about. And it's always interactive. So if you guys have any thoughts, opinions, or anything about any of the cars that we're referencing, please do not hesitate to comment over the course of this stream. The stream is very interactive. I love communicating with chat. So if you guys are watching this at a later date, be sure to tune in during the live stream so you can be a part of the conversation, the dialogue, the episode, everything. Alexandre is already in the chat. Good morning to you as well, my friend. We are just finishing up some of the touches here before we can get ready to go. So today's actually, you're going to catch a little sneak peek of something here. Excuse me. So today is actually a bit of a shorter episode. There's only really two pieces of news and then something that I want you guys to look out for coming on the weekend. Ooh, hold on. I've done messed everything up. Okay, here we go. Amazing. All right. So now we just got to do the classic share to my page, and then we are good to go. I don't know why you can hear the follow alert going off, but I can't see the alert. Let me see if I can troubleshoot that quickly. Aha, we did it. Excuse me. Shout out to Matt for liking the stream and sharing. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning to you as well. My hair has seen better mornings. Jesus. Okay, there we go. Share now. Excuse me. Aha, we did it. And then do one of these. Shout out to Matt for liking the stream and sharing. Thank you for tuning in. All right. All right, we're good to go. So like I said, guys, today is going to be a bit of a short stream. There really was only one piece of news, but I will say I do have a Rolodex of topics so that in the future, when this sort of like stagnant news timeline happens, we can have some car topics to talk about. But for now, we're going to keep it short and sweet as we send it off into the weekend. So cheers to those of you who also, it is the morning, shot of espresso, got to keep it going. You know what I mean? That was for you ASMR people out there. You know, I know who you are. You know who you are. We know who you are. Okay. So I wanted to start it off. Personal exciting note. These are the wheels that are going to be going on the K-Swap Civic. They're finally all in one piece. I had the tires sitting next to the wheels and now was able to put them together. Good morning, Ben. Thank you for stopping by and liking the stream. Appreciate that. Happy to have you here. These are Advan RZ2s wrapped in Falcon RT660 tires, 16 by 7s with a lot of meat on there. I'm really looking forward to actually tossing these on the car this weekend. We got another listener, Berg, who is actually helping out with some of the things that are going on with this car. It's getting a suspension overhaul, rear disc brake conversion, and a bunch of the camber arms are getting adjusted. So the car should be proper and ready to go for the track after this weekend. So I'm really, really excited come Monday, come Tuesday to share photos and talk about that car with you guys because the season is about to start. I think the first autocross might actually be next week. Calimera Antonio, welcome. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Appreciate that. So the car should actually be ready for its first event, which will be next weekend. So I want to do a shakedown with the car at an autocross before we take this thing to the track, but I'm hoping that we can get this car out and start doing a lot of things with it. For those of you that don't know what car I'm talking about, I have a 1997 Honda Civic Coupe. That's an EJ8 chassis. Full send Friday. Keep up the awesome content, brother. Matt Gaumont dropping the 1,000 stars to start the stream. Shout out to Matt. Thank you, Matt. Big supporter of the stream. Appreciate that. So I'm really, really excited for this car. It's a K-Swap Civic, so it makes about 250 horse, I believe, is what it was wheel horsepower was at, and it weighs somewhere in the low 2300. So the car should be an absolute riot, and I'm hopeful that with these Falcon RT660s, we can keep it all together in one piece. I'm really shooting for the time that I was able to put down with my FK8 Civic Type R at all these events. So it's not going to happen overnight because the Civic Type R while a difficult car in its own right, is a lot easier to drive than something like a K-Swap Civic Coupe, right? So I'm definitely going to have different problems there, but it's going to be something that I'm really excited about. Let me do this. Let's get that natural light going. You know what I mean? Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Look what a little natural light does to the stream. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I'm really, really excited for this. I think the car is going to be a monster, and I'm hopeful that I can sort of like try my best to tame it, if you will. It's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely a lot of fun. And I'll be sure to keep you guys following. Matt says, sweet wheels. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well, by the way. All right, let's move on to like what you guys actually came here for. I wanted to talk about two things that you guys should look out for this weekend. One of them drops today. Shout out to Matt for liking the stream. Thank you for that. Oh, my ad Van Wheels. No. The first one is Formula One Drive to Survive. Friends, we need to have a chat. Okay, let me bring you a little closer in here. Let me bring you a little closer in. Okay. We need to talk. All right. For those of you that have complaints about your significant other, okay, and them being the reason why you can't watch any content, them being the reason why racing has to take a back seat, let me introduce you to Formula One's Drive to Survive, okay? It's a series that shows a sort of behind-the-scenes look at the Formula One season, okay? And it's always about the season prior. So the current season is going to be about last season. Okay, you with me? Stay with me here. Now, your partner, okay, excuse me, regardless of their affinity towards motorsport, I guarantee you will like this show for two reasons, okay? One, it's more about the drama that happens over the course of a Formula One season than it is necessarily about the race itself. You find yourself having people that you want to root for, so you're excited to hear about how the race went, okay? But it's not a core tenet, right? They're not showing like the entire race during an episode. Matt says, this is one of the best series ever as far as motorsports goes. For sure, I would actually put it up as one of the best ones ever, personally. I mean, there's an affinity there, obviously, because of cars. But anyway, so that's one, right? It doesn't really show a lot of the racing. Now, you see the cars in action. You get updates as the race goes because it's usually a core to the episode's overall story arc. But it's not essential, okay? And then two, we're just going to say it, okay? Formula One drivers, usually attractive. They are. Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, Pierre Gasly, Charles Leclerc. These are guys in like their low to mid 20s that are in better shape than you are, sitting next to them on the couch. All right. They look better than you do. Shout out to Anthony Delmonico for liking the stream. Thank you, buddy. Welcome in. So this is your chance to get your partner interested. Okay. This is your chance to be able to share motorsport with your partner. And then what you do, okay, she, he, they get their favorite driver over the course of season one, okay? And then you watch season two. Maybe they continue to have that favorite driver. Maybe they have a new one. And now, today, season 3 just dropped today. So you guys have weekend of content. Season 3 just dropped, okay? So now what happens is they have a favorite, whether it's Daniel Ricciardo, okay, Australian accent, six-pack abs, guy's good looking, okay, great smile, you know what I mean? Whether it's Carlos Sainz, Spanish, great accent, washboard abs, looks way better than you do, okay? Whoever it is, you know what I mean? And now you can take that and watch the race. There's your life hack for you, okay? You can take whoever your partner's favorite driver is coming out of Formula One Drive to Survive, buy them some merch, okay? She likes Daniel Ricciardo. Hey, he just joined McLaren this season. Get her a Good Day shirt. Now you can watch the races. You see what we did there, guys? All right, we're getting smart here. You know what I mean? Netflix has our back on this one. So I wanted to plug this series because it is truly one of the better series. And last season did have a ton of drama, right? Thanks to COVID-19, which, by the way, like, obviously not a lot of positives there. But we got to see Nico Hülkenberg come back as a reserve driver and do phenomenally well. We got Racing Point with the allegations that they copied Mercedes, okay? We got Racing Point winning a race. We got Racing Point qualifying on pole for a race. We got Pierre Gasly winning a race, right? Like, there's so many storylines that can play out over the course of this season, and Netflix's ability to generate drama and show it beautifully is going to be something that's going to be really great to watch. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I know you guys should be too, because this is going to be kick-ass. So Formula One Drive to Survive comes out today, and again, life hack. Check it out with your partner if you can't watch any motorsport content with them, and don't worry, you will. Okay. All right. Oh, just going to turn you guys off apparently on my screen. Yeah, so that's the problem with monitor arms sometimes, is like, depending on how I move you guys, it'll just like turn off the monitor. Okay, here we are. So the next bit of news that we have to talk about is something else that you should look forward to this weekend, and it is the Sebring 12-hour. So we actually had a long episode talking about the Daytona 24-hour, talking about the Daytona prototypes, LMP2, LMP3, GTD, GTLM, and we went through that. It was pretty exhaustive. If you guys want to go back and sort of listen to that episode, that'll be sort of a good precursor to this one, because not much of the field changed. But the Sebring 12-hour does also take place this weekend, so it should be a really, really good race. Let me get you the exact date. The Sebring 12-hour goes March 20th, so it starts tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. local time, which is Eastern. So for those of you looking for actual motorsport to watch, the Sebring 12-hour is this weekend, and it's going to be a really, really great one. The Acura DPI won the Daytona 24-hour, and that race, which was 24 hours long, truly did come down to the wire. The Cadillac DPI was hard charging and really catching that Acura DPI, blows out a tire, Acura wins. Right. So there's a lot of drama that can happen in these races. The balance of performance is incredible. So the racing is really, really close. You have Cadillac, Acura, Mazda fighting for the DP top spot. You have Ligier fighting for LMP2 win. LMP3, there's two manufacturers there. GTLM, I think it's Corvette, Ferrari, Porsche. And then GTD, it's a host of people. We're talking about BMW. We're talking about Porsche, Ferrari, Lexus. Acura is also in GTD, right? So there's a lot of good racing happening. That starts tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., ends at 10:30 p.m. It's a 12-hour endurance race. So if you guys are looking for some content to watch on a Saturday that's actual racing, check out the Sebring 12-hour. It's gonna be a good one if the Daytona 24-hour was any inclination to what we can expect. And let's be honest here, right? The racing that we have right now, today, this weekend, not that much. We're talking about, we have this, we have NASCAR races, and then everybody else is pretty much in testing. Formula One just got finished with their winter test. This week actually was gonna be the Australian Grand Prix, but that got rescheduled. So Formula One schedule is a little bit out. Let me look up there. Yeah, Sunday, March 28th. So next weekend is the first race of the Formula One season. If you guys haven't had the chance and are really, really interested in sort of setting the tone and understanding what to expect from each of the teams come the Formula One, the start of the season, you don't want to be left in the dark. You want to find out about the changes, get used to the people. I urge you guys, a really great series here, and let me know in the comments if you guys have seen this or in the chat, is just search Formula One Tech Talk, okay? It's an actual Formula One channel, so it's from like the brand Formula One, but it's a gentleman, and let me pull up his name because he rocks. The Tech Talks, effectively what they are is a gentleman who goes over technical changes to the Formula One cars, and he presents them in a way that make you feel like you were the engineer that designed them, right? And we're talking about everything from floor design to spoiler design to little flaps in the wing, what they can do. And the way they present that and how brilliant it is in terms of how much a small little thing can change everything is insane. Like truly, truly insane. Sam Collins is his name. I implore you guys to check it out. If you just search Formula One Tech Talk 2021, you'll see a bunch of videos about preseason highlights, and it's definitely worth checking out before next week's race. Formula One Tech Talk, check that shit out. Okay. Now let's get into the only bit of car news that we have today. All right. And that is a car that we're actually going to start off with by playing the sound of the car. And you might notice the name as we play the sound, but it is what it is. Not to worry. All right. Let's take a listen here. It's just 50 seconds, people. Relax. We'll be all right. It's my first time hearing this too. Yowza. Okay. So that car that you guys just heard was this one. And as we talk about it, let me know in the chat, in the comments, what your favorite sounding car is and how it stacks up to this. Because maybe if we have some time afterwards, we can play a couple of them and really like riff and see which one we actually like out of all of them. In terms of my thoughts for that sound, again, that was the first time I'd actually heard that. That engine is a V12 engine, which Pagani says is the lightest, most powerful, and efficient track-ready V12 ever created. It makes 838 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. It screams to 9,000 RPM for a V12, okay? The engine itself is paired to a 6-speed sequential transmission that also doesn't weigh much. And it creates for an overall pretty nasty car. The structure is lightweight. The Huayra R is what this car is called, and it weighs 2,315 pounds dry, okay, which is really, really, really light. Pagani had a focus of generating 2,200 pounds of downforce, so that is why all the aero is on this machine. There is huge aluminum alloy wheels that measure 19 inches front and rear that are wrapped in a specific version of the Pirelli P0 tire that is specifically optimized towards this car. It has 16-inch Brembo carbon ceramic brakes in the front with 15.3 inches in the rear, both of which are 6-piston calipers, front and rear, okay? Pagani says the suspension allows for unprecedented driver precision, as well as greater camber recovery and optimized dynamic bump steer correction to guarantee ideal grip for the slick tire in every situation. Production will be limited to 30 units, and the price, can I get a drum roll, please? Oh, that's just me hitting my desk. $3.1 million. $3.1 million for this car, okay? Matt says, Pagani's the only company that I love more than the SRT division. So fucking sick. So I will say, man, like, Pagani has done an unbelievable job at just milking this car, for sure. And, like, creating... We talked about this with McLaren a couple weeks back, in that they keep creating an edition that is more special. Right? Like, each next one outdoes the other one, and it makes your first one kind of look and feel like shit. But Pagani has the recipe down, right? Because, yes, this Huayra R does make cars like the Huayra BC or the regular Huayra or whatever. Not obsolete, but, like, you know, this is definitely the better car. But thanks to low production numbers, all of the Huayras are special. And that's the difference between McLaren and Pagani, right? So I do agree that Pagani definitely has something special there. Are they my favorite? I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of really cool new cars coming out. I think we talked about the Apollo Intensa Emozione on this podcast in the past. Do you guys know about that car? Let me do this, okay? Now that we've shown you what this Pagani looks like, we're gonna go on YouTube, all right? And we're gonna do some sound clip comparisons. You guys heard that car, you guys know that car. So now what we're gonna do is hear some sounds of some other amazing machines, and I want you guys to pick which one you think is the best. I'll have my opinion as well, which is probably gonna be the correct one, but anyway, whatever, I'll accept your guys' opinions too, I guess, All right, here we go. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. All right, so this will be my first entry for you guys as a car that sounds better than the Pagani. This is the Apollo Intensa Emozione. This car also has a naturally aspirated V12. Think about this as a car that was designed not to be perfect. Check out that E-AMG wagon, keeping up with it. But yeah, when Apollo was actually designing this car, they said they wanted to be something that you had to wrangle, something that you had to become a master of driving to be able to really harness the potential of this car. They didn't want it to be a supercomputer. They didn't want it to be anything like that, which I think is really commendable. And it has a naturally aspirated V12, beautiful looks, lots of aero. Sounds pretty good to me. Sounds pretty good to me. All right, we're going to get into the next entrant here. This should be no surprise. This is the Lexus Lfa. Couple things about the LFA here. Shout out to Ralphie Bloss with the follow. Thank you for that, my man. Appreciate that. Welcome to the stream. Couple things about the LFA that is really interesting. This car has seemed to come on really, really strong in recent years in terms of collectability and value. If you remember, probably like 3 years ago, there were actually still new Lexus LFAs on lots. There were still Lexus LFAs on lots, and with that came a massive devaluation to those that had purchased it. Now, you can't even get into these things for almost 100, 200K over what they stickered for new. Never mind Nürburgring edition. If you have a Nürburgring edition of this car, now you're paying 7 figures, right? Which is wild, and no one thought that for the Lexus LFA. But it leverages a V10 that is very Formula One inspired. Let's take a listen. We got Georgie in the chat. He says, is this what Gran Turismo would look like with the 3090? Yes. So entry number 2, okay, into does it sound better than the Pagani is the Lexus LFA. So we got the Lexus LFA, the Apollo Intensa Emozione. Now, there is only one natural selection that we go next here, and that is Carrera GT. Now, there is one video, if you have friends that have never heard the video, okay, it's called Carrera GT Straight Pipes Sound of God, okay? Oh, it's not? What? Hold on. There's one classic video. There it is, right here. Here it is. Okay, I know this car has straight pipes, so it has an exhaust, but fuck you. This is my show, not yours. So we're going to listen to what this car sounds like. And this is the epitome of V10, okay? And you want to talk about another car that also had, oh man, it was a special edition. Very, very limited, Georgie. Very, very limited, that car. So let me just talk about this Carrera GT quickly because it also experienced something similar to the LFA. When the Carrera GT came out, it was met well by a lot of people, but there was a period of time where values started to tank, and you could actually get one of these for around 3 to 4, 500,000. Now they're trading between $800 to $1 million because people are understanding that this was something that Porsche never would have created, right? This is a V10, this is mid-engine, this is crazy, this is hard to drive, it's an animal. right? And they know that this was literally a one-off in terms of Porsche. Porsche created this because they wanted to go back to Le Mans and win, and then the regulations changed and they were stuck with a street car, right? And now values are skyrocketing, just like the LFA. So let's take a listen. Oops, sorry to everyone that has headphones on, but this is the sound of God here. California, by the way. This is this should be California. You see the stones on that guy? Did you see the stone? We'll play that one more time. Look at how crazy this thing not only spins up, how quick it spins up, but how nutty this car gets. Got to lower that wing, you know, for minimal drag here. Let me know if this is too loud, guys. This is the first time playing videos on stream for everyone, so I want to make sure I'm not blowing everyone's eardrums off. Nutty. Nutty. Nico brings up our next option. He says Murcielago Sv got to be up there too. Let's take a listen and see if it holds a candle to any of these cars that we just listened to. I do agree. Dude, it's so funny, right? All of these cars that we're talking about, short of the Apollo Intensa Emozione, were cars that at one point could be had for quote-unquote bargains relative to their price today. This is another car that you could get for like 200 grand at one point in its life. Now you can't even touch these things. Never mind if it's a manual transmission, which these cars were offered in. Sounds pretty good, but does it sound better? Now, you got to remember this is a 6.5-liter V12 making 670 horsepower. Okay, it sounds pretty good. Lambo's got one thing going for them, man. They know how to generate a good-sounded car. That's a good machine. Very good machine. Great call-out, Nico. Great call-out. Alexandre brings up our next competitor. That is the Ferrari F50. Let's see what we got. We'll end on this one. This is another car that was just so underappreciated until recently. Its values have always been kind of high, but now they've just taken off. Should we listen to the GT? Yeah. The GT was the sort of like race-only variant of the car. Oh, the FXX. Shout out. Joe Scott, thank you for tuning in, my man. So let me level set here for those of you that are tuning in. So we listened to, and we'll listen to again, we'll sort of bookend it with this, but we listened to the new Huayra R sound. The sound of that car is a V12, revs to 9,000 RPM. And what we're doing now is comparing that sound of a car that is in theory coming out, right? They only release CGI models and the sound of the engine, but is coming out soon. We're comparing that to some of the all-time greats in sound to see, does it unseat it? So the cars that we've shown already are the Apollo Intensa Emozione, which is a naturally aspirated V12. We've shown the Carrera GT, which is a naturally aspirated V10. We've shown the LFA, which is a naturally aspirated V10. We've shown the Murcielago Sv, which is a naturally aspirated V12. And now we're talking about the F50. Yeah, Nico brings up another one. We got probably, let's go over two more. The T50 is definitely one that we should cover. And then I got another one that I want to show you guys as well. That was the FXX. Insane. Guys, let me know if this is too loud, by the way. I'm assuming this is fine, but just let me know. Look at that thing, man. I love it. It's great. 10 out of 10. Okay, good. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Not bad. That wasn't even the F50. That was just all FXX. Okay. These videos suck. Give me something good. Look at how good the F50 looks, by the way. Fuck the F40. Chris, I don't lose on Forza, my man. The only time I lost yesterday was when I had the wrong shifter configuration. Never forget. Which, by the way, if anyone wants to catch the hands in Forza Motorsport 7, feel free to leave your DM and or leave your gamer tag, and maybe what we can do is set up a MoneyShift bodies its listeners stream of Forza. Is that a Lars? Is this a Lars? Is this Lars? I'm just going to say this is Lars Anderson in Massachusetts, even though this guy has Florida plates. Saw that tree and everything? Sounds good, but I don't think it's top 5 here. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Nico brought up the Gordon Murray T50. Let's take a listen there. Georgie says, Forza D-Class endurance race. Dude, I will do any class you want. D, C, B. I'm P-Class. Georgie, you know, you've caught the hands in Forza as well. You've caught my hands to the tune of P-Class on Road Atlanta. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. I think the F50 is a better car. It's a more special car. I obviously haven't driven these. I have the opportunity to drive an F40, but we just need, you know, the world to be normal. Okay. Have they? Oh, no. What you have to do is do the Cosworth, Gordon, Murray sound. Yeah, you got to do this. There you go. This is the sound of the engine because it's only gone up to 3,000 RPM in real life. I mean, that's top 3, right? Right, guys? That has to be top 3 here. Yeah, that has to be top 3, for sure. Has to be. None of these. None of these. I mean, all right. We'll end this like top sounding car discussion with this. This includes, oh, there you go. That's probably one of the better race cars of all time, the Audi 90. Listen to this. All that flutter. So great. So spicy. You obviously have never heard a 1.6 Spec Miata. Joe, why doesn't everyone hear it? 1.6 Spec Miata sound. Here, I'll even give you the ultimate MX-5 sound compilation. Is your fender going to look like this as well, Joe? I hope. I hope it does. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's move this down here. Can do this. That one sounds pretty nasty. This is not a Spec Miata. I know, dude. What do you want from me? Here we go. Spec Miata. Exhaust. (123 horsepower, 128 and 118 torque). Why do Miatas sound like an angry beehive? Because they are. This is not important for me and not interested this. Please remove it. Okay, Nina, thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's an interesting one, right? There was a lot of really, really good cars to come out. But I think this Pagani does a good job at, you know, really like maintaining its ability to be special. If we just search the regular Huayra, that car started in no shot, it was 2012. No shot, it was 2012. Was it that early? It might have been that early. Hold on a minute. Is that true? I refuse to believe that the Huayra has been around for that long. Pagani Huayra debut. Wow, it has. January 25, 2011, the Huayra was limited to 100 units. So this car has been around for 10 years. 10 years. And Pagani is still managing to reinvent its image to keep it modern. And I think they produced the car at the perfect time. Because as these cars get more spec sheet oriented, Pagani's all about feel. Pagani's all about sound. When you hear the name Pagani, you never put together, what's it 0 to 60 or how fast does it do the Nürburgring? It is kind of weird that's the case. No, it's not weird at all. Pagani's brilliant at that, right? They've purely with all of their cars have evoked a design, have evoked an emotion, have evoked all of that, but never has Pagani released and said this car does 0 to 60 and whatever, its top speed is whatever, and it can do the Trek and this. And I think that's how they've been able to keep their cars relevant, especially now in an era where analog cars are coming back pretty big time. People are starting to care less about the stat sheet and more about how the car drives. We've talked about Lamborghini and their handling priority announcement. We've talked about Acura prioritizing rebranding themselves as a performance car brand, right? And these are all things that sort of Pagani has been doing its whole life. Joe says, wow, almost as long as the 370Z. Nico says, that Huayra looks great. Chris says, that's where they get their power from. It's big, empty block full of bees. Yeah, that 1.6 liter is actually the only thing preventing the Honeybee from going extinct. We hear in recent years that the Honeybee is on the downward trend, but thanks to the amount of people keeping the Miata alive, the Honeybee is actually remaining in existence. So shout out to Mazda for really keeping the bee going. That's why they have a yearly service on those Miatas. I don't know if you guys knew this, so some quick knowledge before we end the stream here. But they have a yearly service on the Mazda Miata where they actually have to remove the intake, the cone on the intake, in order to really just gunk out all the honey that has been generated by the 1.6 liter. If you have the 1.8, that's when they shifted away from the B and went to more of a natural, internal combustion engine type thing. So the 1.6 is really the one to get if you're, concerned about honeybees. If you're pro honeybee, get a 1.6 liter Miata for sure. I hope one person in the chat took that seriously. Nico says they actually make honeycomb nest as an intake. Yeah, you're right. The intake is 100% honeycomb. The 1.8 was when they converted from bees to hamsters. Ah, that is good intel, Joe. I didn't know that. I thought it was ICE. Hey, Joe, how are you? Hope you're well, sir. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. We're actually tuning down the stream right now, but thank you for checking in. Hope you're doing well. Hope the car is doing well, my friend. This is why Miatas get swapped with K20 and K24s. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I want one, but who knows? All right, everybody, I think that's where we're going to call it today. So for those of you that are new to the stream overall, we stream every day in the morning in around that 7 to 8:30 time horizon is when we begin. Usually the streams can last anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour. This one's around that 40-minute mark today. And we try to update you on everything car news, things you should be looking out for. But on days where we don't have car news, we're going to be going over some topics. So some topics that we have coming up up in the future. Our Golf R and its competition, TLX and its competition. What's the best track car you can start with? What's the worst car on the market today in every price bracket? Because we always talk about the best, but we never talk about the worst. So if you guys have any other topics and themes or things that you would want to discuss and cover on a podcast that doesn't have any news, feel free to shout it out or feel free to DM me. My name is Thanasi. You can DM me on my personal Facebook or Instagram, or you can just shoot us a DM on the MoneyShift page. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to Chris for liking the stream. Shout out to Joe Scott with the 50 stars. Thank you, my man. Double says, car's doing great, installing a new lip and canards this weekend. That sounds amazing. Please send me photos. I believe you still have my cell phone number. Please send me photos of that. That would be awesome. Georgie says, Nissan Juke for the worst. Incorrect. There is infinitely more options that are worse than a Nissan Juke. The Juke Nismo RS is a really, really good one. Mariano, thank you for the like, my friend. Appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. And for everyone else that is joining, that is new to the Money Shift podcast, thank you, everybody, for stopping by. This is a daily news show, and I look forward to giving you that news tomorrow. I'll see you later, everybody. Have a great Friday, and go watch Drive to Survive. For those of you that tuned in late, that is the life hack to get your partner interested in motorsports. Drive to Survive on Netflix. Get them to have a fan of their favorite racer. Boom. Now you can watch Formula One races on the weekend. Go check it out. Let me know what you think on Saturday, if you guys watch it tonight. If you don't, we'll come back on Monday. All right, guys. Have a great Friday.